Tuesday, September 20th, David? September 20th?
19th.
It is September 19th, actually.
September 19th. I knew it this whole time.
I want to see if we knew it.
All right, we're getting close. Getting close. We got to wait 2 days to get football again after a little double dip for Monday Night Football last night.
I'm sure there's a middle school playing tonight somewhere.
Well, man, I wish, everybody's like, man, I wish they could cryogenically freeze people or like hibernate people so we could send them like in space for long distances and they're fine. Like, I don't want to be put to sleep for that. I want to be put to sleep like, do the show in the morning. Hey, cryogenically put me to sleep until Thursday, an hour and a half before kickoff so I can make my bets, right? See, that's what I would use it for. That's my America. Like, I don't care what's going on in Zeta Reticula 5. Let them do their thing. They got their thing. Whatever they're playing up there. All right? I just want to wake up, when the game's on.
Is that your America?
I don't even know how we got here.
But we're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
2 days, easy money.
Yeah, welcome to it. Notre Dame and Ohio State face off in a top 10 showdown on Separation Saturday. Browns running back Nick Chubb gets carted off the field during Cleveland's 26-22 loss to the Steelers last night. And Michigan State says they intend to fire head coach Mel Tucker for cause. I'm Jay Crain, and welcome to Crain & Company. Ohio State head football coach Ryan Day has caught a lot of heat lately for not being able to beat his arch-rival Michigan, despite his teams making the playoff pretty consistently and winning a ton of games. Now, there may not be a coach who has accomplished more, that is under more pressure in this huge weekend slate of games. Now, Saturday in South Bend against the Irish will either stoke those fires under his feet or help the college football realm remember that Day is an elite coach. Let's be honest. There's probably not another coach as underappreciated as Ryan Day is. Now, if Ohio State does drop this game to Notre Dame with a trip to Michigan at the end of the year, Day may catch more strays than a humane society. Now, the question is, does he deserve it? And the answer is hell no, he doesn't. But in the what have you done for me today world of college football, there will be even more questions about his ability to rise to the top. Now, I'm from the Iron Bowl country, so I understand the importance of beating your rival, especially when it's a top 3 rivalry in all of the sport. But let's not forget how great Ryan Day has been. He hasn't lost more than 2 games in a season during his head coaching career at Ohio State. He's 38-3 in the Big Ten overall with 2 Big Ten titles, 3 division titles, and he's made the college football playoff 3 times. But there's still some doubt about him in some corners of the college football world. And a loss this Saturday will heat those up significantly. Now this weekend, regardless of what happens, it won't sink Ohio State, but match that with a potential 3rd straight loss to Michigan in the Big House, and there will inevitably be a problem. Now I'll tell Ohio State fans this. I know the standard is really high and it should be, but I would be careful when it comes to Ryan Day, especially with what Eberflus is doing there with the Bears, because sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone. Now, David Cohn knows a little bit about this rivalry, former Michigan quarterback.
Told you.
My brother knows a lot about this rivalry too because he loves college
I know football. That's why I know a lot about this rivalry.
And David, listen, you got to beat your rival, right? Like it's you do in that rivalry you do. I mean, it's something you can't
Look,
keep this reverberating.
Right now. Everything's good right now.
Well, you're a Michigan guy, but in the grand scheme of things, you lose too many against your arch rival. You're 34 and out the door. And I know Ryan Day. The script's kind of flipped with Michigan, right? After they were just beating them relentlessly. I mean, into submission for a while. Now Jim Harbaugh's got it going. But do you think he's underappreciated?
Well, a little bit, but you have to understand that, I mean, Urban Meyer completely owned Jim Harbaugh in this rivalry. Like that was the thing. Jim Harbaugh couldn't crack the Urban Meyer code, and I think it just speaks to how great of a coach Urban Meyer is. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that Alabama is playing some close games now, and they lose occasionally, and they don't win a championship every 3 years. That's what's normal. What they were doing before is not normal. So that's what I say about the Buckeyes as well. Like what we're seeing now is just a little bit more normal because they had been the gold standard in the conference for so long. But a rivalry that great, like you talked about, it swings. It's a pendulum, right? So yes, now Michigan's gotten back-to-back victories. I know the Buckeyes are going to come into Ann Arbor later this year around Thanksgiving week, and they're going to be champing at the bit to win that game. But I'm so excited for this matchup this weekend because this is the perfect time for this game, Irish and Buckeyes. It didn't happen the first week of the season or the second week of the season. It's not towards the end of the year. We're getting it at a perfect time because both of these teams have gotten off to a good start. They've gotten to know, the personnel that they're going to be moving forward with. And the Buckeyes have gotten off to a slow start in some of these games, which isn't surprising. I mean, you're starting a new quarterback, and the last 4 or 5 have all been Heisman Trophy finalists. For the Buckeyes specifically, 10-3 against Indiana at the end of the first half, 14-7 against Youngstown State at the end of the first quarter, 7-3 at the end of the first quarter against Western Kentucky, but then they come out of nowhere and they'll score 35 points in a quarter, right? And then on the flip side of that is, Notre Dame finally has their quarterback. I mean, Sam Hartman is the all-time passing touchdown leader in the ACC. A few seasons ago, if we were watching this matchup, you'd say, well, it's a great brand matchup, but the Buckeyes are just too skilled at every position. They're just going to out-talent the Irish. That's just what's going to happen. That may be what happened Saturday, but now I'm looking at Notre Dame, and I'm saying Sam Hartman's a top 10 quarterback in the country. They have a top 10 running back in the country in Audric Estime. They have the best left tackle in the game with Joe Alt. Can the defense hold up against Marvin Harrison Jr. and some of these elite weapons that the Buckeyes have to give the Irish a chance? That's what I'm interested to see.
Yeah, I tell everybody, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment, and also subscribe if you're not subscribed. Blaine, Notre Dame hasn't beaten Ohio State.
Woo!
Anybody want to guess the year? Since when?
Give me a hint.
It's interesting.
You're not going to guess it. I'm going to tell you, 1936.
No hint.
Really?
It's the last time Notre Dame beat Ohio State.
How many times have they played since then, do you know?
Man, I need to go back and look at that. That was kind of one of the stats that blew my mind. Blaine, you look at Sam Hartman. One of the biggest questions, and I don't think there was a better fit in the transfer portal quarterback to a system than Sam Hartman to Notre Dame. It just makes sense. Like I said, he could go into the locker room and go put the leprechaun outfit on, start dancing on the sidelines, and I wouldn't know the difference. I mean, just fits in perfectly. Sam Hartman, 13 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards passing, no interceptions. Remember, when he was coming over from Wake Forest, one of the biggest worries was his turnover rate. Well, one thing we said during the offseason, and it's held true at least to this point, and I know, the best team they've played, NC State, which is not a bad team, I'm a big Brendan Armstrong guy, is that he had to throw so much and he had to try and fit so many balls into windows to give them a chance to outscore people because they wouldn't stop people at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Now at Notre Dame, he doesn't have to go out there, hop in a phone booth, and put the cape on. When you look at this matchup, and I know we have keys to victory on Friday, and we're going to revisit it, but in the past, it seems to me that the way that Ohio State and these kind of high-flying teams would beat Notre Dame was spread them out, get them in space, and let their athletes out-athlete them on the edge. But when I look at this Notre Dame defense, and I see the guys running around that they have in the back end, the guys even at linebacker, I think, and look, Marvin Harrison Jr. is incredible, Egbuka is incredible. I mean, we can go through the list. But I think Notre Dame, at least from keeping everything in front, doesn't have to be scared to death of giving up explosive play after explosive play.
Well, usually the knock on Notre Dame is they're not athletic enough. Right, especially to stay with a bunch of guys like Ohio State with the Lamborghinis they have running out wide receiver. But this Notre Dame team, if you've watched them from day in and day out, they're athletic enough to play with these guys. All right, they can run one high safety and play with these guys from a corner standpoint. I mean, you have an All-American at corner. I think you brought back 2 corners, and they've been playing well throughout the year. But I'm so interested in this game from a game plan standpoint. If you're Ohio State, how do you attack Notre Dame? Right? Do you go out wide to your best players? All right. I don't think Notre Dame's good in the box, but I wouldn't say phenomenal in the box. This game is so interesting for Ryan Day, and just the fact that Ryan Day is on the hot seat is just funny to me.
I don't think he's on the hot seat.
If he loses, right? If he loses this game, right, and loses to Michigan, what big game has Ryan Day won?
I mean, you look, he's won a game in the college football playoff. He's
Couple conference
championships. He's beaten Michigan multiple times. I mean, Ryan Day's won big games.
Would you say Ryan Day's won more big games than Jim Harbaugh?
Yes. Jim Harbaugh, what's his record in the bowl games?
It's like 1-7.
Yeah.
So this isn't a Ryan Day's never won the big game. You can make, and I know Brian Kelly's won a lot of games. You can make a better argument that Brian Kelly hasn't won as many big games as Ryan Day has. The question is the trajectory of where Ohio State is going the last couple years. And look, last year, I mean, they gave Georgia a run for their money in the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's more the Michigan angle. It's the rivalry angle. Because I know if Auburn went 11-1 every year for 5 straight years and that one loss was to Alabama, people would be pissed. Mm-hmm. People would be pissed. And on the flip side, if they went 1-11 for 5 straight years and you beat Alabama 5 straight times, you'd have a lot harder time firing the head coach, as crazy as that sounds. And there's only a couple rivalries that are like that. But going back to the schematics of this game, I feel like the clock rule is so much in Notre Dame's favor, the clock change here, because they have that offensive line. I like Ohio State's defense, but I don't think they're elite, right? They did only give up 10 points to a Western Kentucky team that's pretty explosive on offense. Now, Western Kentucky's terrible on defense, but if you're Notre Dame, do you kind of take a page out of the Florida playbook against Tennessee, try and take away time of possession, run, play action? You don't have to throw Sam Hartman 50 times. And listen, there's some questions about the skill players outside of Audric Estime for Notre Dame on the outside. I mean, Greathouse, those guys, they're young, they're talented, but they're really young. And we know Ohio State's talented on defense. The chess match of, do you try and limit Ohio State possessions? And then on the other side, David, if you're Ohio State with Kyle McCord, you went to Indiana the first game, which was an easy test, but Indiana's not a great football team. He really hasn't been tested on the road yet against a team that can compete with Ohio State in a crazy environment in a big game. I liken this, right, to when we see Carson Beck have to go on the road for Georgia in one of his first big games. And this is, to me, the chance for Sam Hartman to have a Heisman moment. You have to have Heisman opportunities to have Heisman moments against a big-time team. He's going to have multiple ones. But when you look, if you're Notre Dame, starting with them, are you trying to sit on the ball a little bit?
Well, I'm trying to run my game plan, and their game plan is to be a run-first team. That's why I brought up the Buckeyes starting slow in some of these games. Yeah, you can start 7-3 at the end of the first quarter against Western Kentucky and still win the football game 63-10. Mm-hmm. But if you get off to a slow start against the Irish, you may not see the football again for a while. That's one of the things we were talking about with Florida and Tennessee. I mean, Florida had a 7.5-minute drive. They didn't even score any points, but they're still winning. Why? Because Josh Heupel's offense is on the sideline. So I think that's what you're going to see. And I don't know if it's sit on the ball more. I mean, Sam Hartman's still averaging.
Well, what I mean by that is let the play clock go down before you snap it. Are you going to say, listen, Sam,
and that's their
when we get the ball, let's wait till it's at 12?
That's their identity. And I think they are going to do that, and they do that really well. And I have the stats here in front of me. So Notre Dame's averaging, this is what's surprising, Notre Dame's averaging more total yards a game than the Buckeyes are. Now, they have that extra game because they played in the week zero, but over 500 yards of offense, the Buckeyes are at 474. Yards allowed on defense, the Notre Dame is at 234, Buckeyes at 223, so very similar there. Interesting thing, though, Notre Dame is averaging over 200 rush yards a game with Audric Estime and that offensive line. The Buckeyes are giving up 83 yards a game on the ground. So really stout in the run game. So that's a battle that I'm interested to see. Like if Notre Dame is going to try and control the clock on the ground and you're running on 1st and 10 or you're running on 2nd and 8, if that gets stuffed and Sam Hartman starts to get into 3rd and long, that's going to play into the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and Blaine, real quickly before we move off this, I do want to let everybody know Notre Dame right now as we record this. By the way, if you're on social media, Twitter, X, whatever it is, make sure you throw us a follow. Notre Dame's a 3.5-point underdog at home. At the over-under is 54.5 right now. I really like that under, just looking at it off the top. Blaine, if you're Notre Dame and you know Kyle McCord is coming into a hostile environment, I think there was some deep thought process by Ryan Day before Western Kentucky saying, hey, listen, Kyle McCord's our guy going up against the defense of Western Kentucky. They got gutted after last year. It's not a good defensive team at all with the Hilltoppers. Do you sit here and say, okay, let's go ahead and try and even though Ohio State has 2 new tackles and a new center, go ahead and try and stuff the run and make Kyle McCord beat us with his arm, but then you sit back and think, Well, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. and Igbuka, and all these guys. Or do you just play it even? You just play it even, straight up. Like, where are the pressure points? Because if you're going to play 0 and bring heat,
there's no way you play 0.
There's no way, right?
I'd make him dink and dunk down the field.
Yeah, do not play 0.
Go make him earn it.
I always want to walk in with the mindset is that your best player is not going to beat me.
Yeah, I'm with
Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to beat me. You're going to have to find another way to beat me running the ball. Yeah. I think if you watch Notre Dame, I mean, their front's good enough not to bring extra people to limit.
Yeah, and this is not Ohio State's best offensive
No, and Ohio State hasn't been tested up front on both sides of the ball. I know you brought up they gave up 80 rushing yards, which is great, but you played Youngstown State and Indiana. So this test against that offensive line,
you're gonna find out.
You will find out extremely.
Joe, Control Alt Delete your defensive lines over there at left tackle.
I agree with that point. Like make them go down the field consistently and earn it. Tyreek Hill was talking about this with Bill Belichick's game plans against him. Always puts the fastest guy on him with another safety over the top. Constantly getting bracket coverage and double coverage. Well, do that. And if the Buckeyes beat you on the ground, which they can do, I've watched it for years. Ezekiel Elliott, Beanie Wells, like all of these guys can beat you on the ground, but make them go do that because then they're also chewing clock, which I think plays in Notre Dame's favor.
I think one thing in this game would be huge, but haven't gotten brought up is red zone. Or who can score in the red zone? Field goals or touchdowns?
4-point
score
play.
Touchdowns. That's what it's going to come down to.
Without a doubt. We have live calls. We want to know what you think, and we're going to preview the rest of these big games with Tom Luginbill is going to join us in a little bit. It's 1-855-236-3228. We're going to open those phone lines up at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. That's 7:15 a.m. Central. Call. We want to keep it 30 to 45 seconds. The lines have been packed, so make sure you give us a ring. We want to know what you think. But before we get to the Booster Club, guys, you tired of wasting your money on testosterone booster products that don't work?
Yes.
I don't blame you, okay? I don't hold you personally responsible for that, all right? That's our sponsor, Nugenix Total T. It lets you try before you buy on their supply. Get a complimentary sample when you text 231-231, that's the number, and you enter keyword Crain. All right, that's C-R-A-I-N. Not like the bird, it's C-R-A-I-N when you text 231-231. Look, I'm getting older. Your boy's almost, you are too. You're about 30, so I don't want to hear from you. Look, and sometimes you have less energy. Let's be honest, okay? Sometimes you're turning into Gandalf the Grey. I want to go more Gandalf the White, all right? And that's due to a natural loss of testosterone, okay? Why are you looking at me like that? You decided to do something about it. I did, and I got Nugenix. How about that?
It really works.
So
yeah, but Blaine was basically.
I take it and just from an energy and even a mentality standpoint, you feel it on a daily basis. So I'm telling you, use it.
Yeah, you feel revived, energized, and you're working out like you used to. You go in there and just a massive weight up. So get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text 231-231 and enter keyword Crain. Text now, and you get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest and most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you lose fat fast and get lean even faster. Absolutely free, or as Miss Frizzle, we call it when I used to watch a Magic School Bus. Great. So text 231-231 and enter keyword Crain, C-R-A-I-N. Also, texting enrolls you into a reoccurring automated text message system, okay? Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates apply. Number one doctor recommended brand by primary care physicians based on an independent survey, all right, conducted by the great people over there at IQVIA, and that was in 2022. All right, Booster Club, what's up?
Let's go to Sean Ketstever with a $5 donation. Johnny, he says, Notre Dame and Ohio State have played 6 times since 1935.
Okay.
Ohio State holds the record, 5 wins, 2 losses.
Yeah. Here we go. I'm telling you, I'm really feeling Notre Dame this weekend. All right, not official pick yet. Not official pick. I like that 3.
Did you just officially pick Notre Dame?
No, I'm not officially picking it yet.
Okay. Let's go to Jariah O with a $20 donation. Jariah, appreciate it, man. You're ready for the Pac-2 championship? Oregon State versus Washington State. I was wondering if you think if Oregon State and Washington State have a chance to win the Pac-12, just stick it to a school leaving. Also, can you guys make a group of 5 top 25?
Yeah, we can do that. We're gonna get in the Oregon State Washington State game with Lugs. That one, I tell you, big game ranked between two ranked teams. I believe Washington State's ranked now. I don't think enough people are talking about this game with some of the other ones we have on the slate. Last time I saw, I think Oregon State was a 3-point favorite, but Pullman going up there and playing, they just ambush you up there, man.
Yeah.
Like Wisconsin got dropped by 26 earlier this year, went up there and just got absolutely slapped around. Cam Ward's a witch.
Yeah,
you got two kind of opposing identities and how they go about things. Look, man, looking at DJU, we're going to find out this weekend, right? He's been throwing to wide open receivers. They've just been able to keep the ball on the ground. The play action's been absolutely deadly. And that's because Oregon State has top 10 offensive line in the country. But we're going to find out if DJU can make the biggest question with Clemson, consistency in big games, right? We're going to find out this weekend. Hard for me to bet against Oregon State, man.
Oregon State 14, Washington State 21. It's at Washington State.
Yep, that's going to be an absolute fist fight.
Dude,
Pac-2 champ.
DJU's just going to be sitting back there all day, baby, all day. Let's go to Cole Freak. What's up, Coley? $5 donation. LeBron is mid. MJ's a GOAT. We need a college marching band ranked segment.
No,
My
we
top
don't.
3 is Badgers, Wolverines,
No, we
and
don't.
the Buckeyes.
I ain't got nothing against the band, but
Huh? Little percussion action? Let's go to Lucas Blanchard with a $2 donation. Lucas, appreciate you, man. Does LSU beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss? Jumping the gun a little bit. A little Ole Miss Bama.
look, I need time. I need to see Ole Miss versus Bama. I need time to really let it marinate. That's going to be a hell of a matchup. But Ole Miss, they've got some business to take care of this weekend, and I feel like Jalen Milroe, and we'll get to the Alabama-Ole Miss game with Lugs, being renamed the starter after Saban apparently put him in timeout. That's what it seems like to me.
Let's go to Austin Sidwell. Austin, what's up, man? He says, Kentucky, Missouri, Auburn won't be in the top 25 at the end of the year. GA's schedule is trash.
I wouldn't say it's trash. I don't think there's any schedule in the SEC that's easy. There's lighter and heavier schedules. Look, you go
Theirs
two
is lighter.
Yeah, compared to the other ones, yeah, theirs is lighter. No, I don't think right now. And he said Kentucky, Auburn, and who else?
Kentucky, and Missouri.
Well, Missouri got a big win last weekend. Should have a lot of confidence. Did you see what Drink came out and said about them booing
Loved
the
it.
quarterback?
Loved it.
Apparently they booed, because I had the volume turned down while that game was on, so I didn't hear it. They booed Brady Cook at the beginning of the game, and Drink came out and was like, boo. Like, why are you booing our starting quarterback? Like, then he goes out there and absolutely balls. He's like, y'all want to boo somebody, boo me. He's like, don't boo our starting quarterback. That's a bad look for Missouri.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
That's interesting because...
But hey, I say that. Maybe it worked.
Well, I had the 4-box on, so I was flipping audio back and forth. And when I was on there, maybe I caught it after that, but the stadium was rocking, a lot of energy, a lot of confidence. Maybe he was already making plays by that point. I don't know.
Yeah, I think early it was a little bit slow.
Gotcha.
But I mean, man, maybe booing him worked. I don't know. Some guys responded to that better than others. But just the booing it in the NFL. Look, these guys are getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. Some guys in college getting paid a lot of money now. But I feel like it's a little bit different. A little bit different when you boo a
cheer on your
college
guy at the beginning of a game?
I know.
Come on, man.
You're booing him at the beginning? Like, God, did like something just come out like in the news or something? You find out like he just like beats his dog or something? I mean, come on, guys. All right, we're going to get back to the Booster Club. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. But let's go and get our college football power rankings, the true top 10. Let's go and throw this bad boy up here. And look, we didn't change anything because why would we change anything?
Yeah, nothing changed this past.
Well, what happened? So if you're on audio, it's the same as last week. I'll go from 10 down to 1. We got Washington at 10, Utah at 9, Penn State at 8, Ohio State at 7, Notre Dame at 6. We'll find out this weekend with both those teams. Oregon at 5, Texas at 4. We didn't move Florida State back. All right, we're going to keep it number 3. Michigan at 2, Georgia at 1. This is why, like, you can't overreact and use the transitive property and say, oh, well, you know, Florida State, they Boston College almost beat them, so I guess we got to move them. No, well, you watch the way LSU played this past weekend. I know Mississippi State isn't exactly going to go win a national championship anytime soon, and they looked horrible up front. But LSU looked like what we thought LSU was going to look like in a hard place to play in Starkville. So, David, I'll start with you. You look at Penn State, Iowa this weekend.
And the AP flipped. They did flip Florida State and Texas, so they put Texas at 3. But again, did Texas look great against Wyoming?
No,
early?
that's just moving something to move it. I swear they can't keep it the same.
Yeah, and they have USC all the way up at 5, which we have receiving votes in ours. Oklahoma receiving votes. And
yep.
You gave a vote to
Oregon State.
Oregon State, that's right, Oregon State. Penn State. Penn State's on a roll. I don't see anything changing there. But look, we're getting a top 10 matchup there. 6 and 7 on ours are playing each other, so there will be some movement on that end. Look. Washington at 10. I think they're going to keep climbing for a little bit. The back half of their schedules.
Got Cal this weekend.
So I don't know. Oregon all the way at 5. We have ranked at 5, a solid 5 spots ahead of the AP. AP has them at 10.
I think Oregon's one of the most balanced teams in the country. But when I look at Penn State, I know they didn't look great in the first half against Illinois. It's kind of a wonky game. They got Iowa this weekend. That under keeps going down. I believe they're a 14.5-point favorite. I think it's a whiteout too this weekend in Happy Valley. Blaine, from what you've seen from Penn State, I know he didn't move them. There was no reason to move them. I feel like, though, when I look at this top 10, Utah, do not forget, has been playing without Keithy and Cam Rising.
Big game this weekend, too. They got UCLA this weekend.
Yeah, with Dante Moore going on the road, I like Utah -4.5. I don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Is Cam Rising going to play football?
Again, Kyle Whittingham's the best at hiding injury. I don't know. Like, it is purely a guess. I think there's only 2 people that know. That's Kyle Whittingham. Well, 3. Kyle Whittingham, Cam Rising, and God. Those are the 3 people that know. But out of all that top 10 right now, to me, I'm the most uncertain, Blaine, about Penn State.
Really, I'd probably say Utah would be my team I'm most uncertain about because we just haven't really seen Cam Rising out there, and we don't know when he's coming back. But think about Penn State. I go back and I've watched Penn State. I have Penn State going 11-1 on the year. I believe they're losing to Ohio State. I have to go back and look at that game. Drew Allers looked good so far. I don't think he's thrown an interception all year, over 700 yards. I kind of get worried about Penn State's front 7 on defense.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't looked as beefy as they usually look, as physical as they usually look, and they'll beat the teams they're supposed to be because obviously they're just more talented than. But you run into these teams like the big teams in Michigan, Ohio State, we have to compete up front. I kind of get worried about them on the defense a little bit, which I usually never say about a Penn State coach team. They're always solid on the front 7. If you're Penn State, a lot of things are looking up, and you kind of seem like you've been gotten better each week. The West Virginia game week 1 was a grudge match, absolute physical game. You bounce back, get a big win in Illinois. You didn't come out in the first half looking great, but you finished in the second half, and that's kind of the pedigree of Penn State, just the experience they have, especially with Drew Allers and the way he looked. So I would probably say Utah just because I haven't seen Cam back yet and who they got this weekend at UCLA. I think Penn State's going to handle Iowa. I think Iowa's just,
Iowa struggles to score.
That style doesn't match up against a team like this one.
I just worry Penn State, to me, I like their run game. I like Drew Allers. They just don't hit a lot of explosive plays on offense. When you're going up, when you're going to play some of these teams that you're getting into, when you're in the Big Ten East, you are not just going to be able to methodically move the ball down the field and just get 4 or 5, 6 yards at a time. Like against Illinois, I'll give you a great example. They recovered a couple fumbles, were able to punch it in. You get a halfback pass that scores a touchdown. Illinois is not great on defense at all.
They're not.
Kansas put the safeties in conflict the whole game and just ripped them apart, ripped them to shreds. Again, Penn State, to me, you cannot survive at this level without at least having the threat of hitting explosive plays by hitting them every now and then. I just haven't seen a lot.
I'm sorry, but the 2 games, it's just Ohio State and Michigan. You're going to beat everybody else. I mean, you got Iowa. If you beat Iowa this weekend, you got Northwestern, Massachusetts, Ohio State, Indiana you'll beat. At Maryland, you should win. You have Michigan at home, Rutgers and Michigan State.
But that even makes a bigger question mark because do we know? But like you said, because they play Michigan and the Buckeyes in the middle of the season, we're going to find out more about them, and they get 1 at home and 1 on the road.
I'm just telling you, if you can't hit explosive plays, Iowa's damn good on defense. Yeah. Like this could end up being that 14.5, as bad as Iowa is on offense, as much as we make fun of them, that 14.5's a lot against Iowa's, to me, I watched them play. It's all they got. Mm-hmm. It's like Jonah Hill and Superbad on the dance floor, throwing the dice. That's all. That's just one move. That's the move they got, defense and special teams. So not saying Iowa's going to win, but if Penn State cannot hit explosive plays, Michigan is going to score on them. Ohio State is going to score. And at Penn State right now, take away Massachusetts and Indiana and all these other teams, Penn State, they're not happy with 9-3 anymore. Happy Valley is not happy with 9-3. They want to win a championship. They are sick of sitting in the back seat of the car with their seatbelt while Michigan and Ohio State drive the car. They're sick of during Thanksgiving having to go sit at the kids' table and drink sparkling wine instead of the real thing. Well, they want to go.
You can be sick all you want, but I mean, 10-2. Like sometimes you gotta take what you can get.
That's true, David. But
I have them 10-2 right now, and I and that's if you get Michigan at home, that's going to be an incredible. We'll get to that one.
Yeah.
And I understand all the things that you're saying about them, but you look, they make up for not hitting explosive plays in other ways, like on the defensive side of the ball. 2 spots below them, I'm looking at this Washington team who can't not hit explosive plays. Michael Penix Jr. is throwing 70-yard touchdowns every play, but then the question is, okay, well, are they as balanced of a team as someone like Penn State? Do they have the defense to be able to win some of these games? So each of these has different flaws. I think it's one of the cooler aspects about college football, whereas every team doesn't just kind of look the same.
Yeah.
Like
well, we're used to like Penn
level.
State having that one guy at receiver.
Well, like Jahan Dotson.
Like that one guy who's a difference maker when it comes to skill position out wide. Right now, I really can't find that.
No, I like Allen, the running back. I like Singleton, the running back. I like Drew Aller. I think Drew Aller, next year, the battle, if Shadur comes back, which I don't know if he will or not, the battle between who's going to be the number 1 quarterback off the board is going to be between Drew Aller and him, in my opinion, just the way that I see it. But no, Washington, you bring up a great point. They got Cal this weekend. That's a bet that I'm looking at. We're going to get into later. It's just that game's been kind of weird from a covering standpoint, but it is the first Pac-12 game.
21 right now?
Yeah, it's at 21 right now. I mean, Cal, couldn't score if they brought a Reese Cup next to a goat, but
also, one note here on Michigan. All right, now I know with Michigan and Georgia, they've just we've left them at the top 2 and hadn't done anything because we won't find out a lot about them till later in the season with their schedules. But the suspension is up for Jim Harbaugh. The 3-game suspension, that's up. He's coming back this week, and they're hosting Rutgers. And the narrative has been, well, they don't play anyone for the first X amount of games or whatever. Rutgers is 3-0 right now. Rutgers is undefeated. They're coming in. I'm just wondering.
Swinson, I like their quarterbacks.
I'm just wondering, is there going to be any distraction with Jim Harbaugh coming back? And, that becomes the bigger story than actually prepping for a game for a Rutgers team that is you're always going to get everyone's best shot when you're Michigan. And you're talking about a Rutgers team that's undefeated coming into the big house. I don't know. It's worth talking about because I don't want them to overlook
it is. And I think it's a good game for Harbaugh to be coming back in though, because it's not, it's not East Tennessee State, but it's also not Ohio State. It's kind of there in the middle. I think it's a good game for J.J. McCarthy after he kind of struggled early a little bit last week, turned the ball over.
3 picks.
But this Rutgers team is not as bad as what I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, same.
The quarterback is I was wondering, would he basically be kind of a version of the Sitkowski kid, but he can run better. I actually like I like Greg Schiano in the first place. But Rutgers is going to be tough. They're not going to beat Michigan. But that 24.5 number, it's at 24 now, actually, as we speak. I'm looking at that over 44.5. Maybe a little bit tighter than what people think. And then with Georgia, took the training wheels off Carson Beck last week. We're going to get into Florida State, Clemson as well, and obviously Oregon, Colorado with Tom Luginbill here in a second. But first, as you might know, all right, we're all fans of our friends at Genucel, okay? They're going to be number 1 on our top 10 skincare, all right, for men and women power ranking. It's not even close, actually. Don't just take my word for it. You can read all the testimonials on their website, which I'm going to get to, whether you got sunspots, brown spots, discoloration, or even inflamed red patches. All right, no, you don't want to talk about it, okay? And we can just keep it between us, all right? But you need to do something about it, all right? And Genucel, it's a must-have, okay? We've got record heat and humidity in a lot of places, which causes people's skin problems as well. It's for men and women. And here's the Genucel Amazing Guarantee. You'll see results on day 1, or they'll give you your money back. How about that? Well, only if everything in life worth that. Well, oh man, I got this hot dog. I took a bite. It tastes terrible. I want my money back. All right, they're not giving.
I'll take it.
That hot dog. Yeah, I know you will. The Glizzy Gobbler. So take advantage of Genucel's most popular package, which now includes the dark spot corrector, plus the classic Genucel bags and puffiness treatment and immediate effects. David, you use it for puffiness. You're basically Puffy the Vampire Slayer.
After you called me Puffy the Vampire Slayer, I'm
going to say it every
make
time.
Some changes in my life. And now, thank God, I found Genucel.
That's it. You don't want spots, man.
Or bags.
You don't want to be 101 Dalmatians. Just be 100 other y'all just run around with spots all over yourself. But it's simple. Go to Genucel.com/booster. That's GENUCEL.com/booster. And you can look years, even decades younger tomorrow. You can Benjamin Buttonize yourself. So say goodbye to darkened liver spots, bags of puffiness under the eyes, and crow's feet at Genucel.com/booster. That's Genucel.com/booster. Booster Club, then Monday Night Football real quick, then Tommy Lugs.
All right, Notre Dame effing Irish with a $5 donation.
The effing Irishman.
Good morning, Crain and Co. Heading to South Bend this weekend for the Notre Dame Ohio State game. First row, upper deck, 25-yard line. Can I get a go Irish?
Look, go great game.
Go Irish.
Okay?
Go Irish.
Yeah, you'll see when my pick comes out. I think you'll probably like it, especially if that. Do I just take it at 3.5 now?
Yeah.
No, see, I don't like when you say it like that because like you're just
Well, don't take it then. We're going to get to best bets.
I know, but like I don't know. I needed a little more kind of like reality from you on that. I feel like that was just a yeah, man.
Dude, take it right now. What are you looking at?
But I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was
me?
funny how Blaine started that comment on it in an Irish accent.
Say it again.
And just slowly
Say
got
it
away.
again, Blaine.
Huh?
Do the Irish accent again.
Notre Dame, effing Irish.
Having Irish.
Thinking Irish, huh?
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's not terrible.
Okay, Charlie, we know you're from like.
Sorry, Mrs. Perfect.
Yeah. We know you're from, you're like the where the IRA started, whatever,
Yeah.
but goodness, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, why don't you get Saquon Barkley to come out and play? Let's go to Miss Kevin. Hashtag Ask Crain and Co. What do you guys think about last night's Browns game? We'll get to that. Miss Kevin, I will punch that for later once we talk about the recap. Woo Pig Bolt 22. Hashtag Ask Crain and Co. Who's losing their second game first? LSU or Alabama?
Man.
Let's wait till Tommy Luke gets here. I'm leaning Bama right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to Texas Ed. Penn State's in the back seat with their headphones looking out the window at the cornfields in the Midwest of resenting Ohio State, Michigan for driving the car.
I know. It's just tough. It's like you're living in between two people that won the lottery, like on each side of you, like back-to-back weeks. You're like, man, golly. It's just tough. But all right, David, I want to get to Monday Night Football. Remember, we got calls, 7:15, 1-855-236-3228. David.
We had two games last night. Let's start with the Steelers and Browns. There was a lot of ugly football last night, guys. But Steelers hold on to beat the Browns 26-22, and Nick Chubb was carted off the field. Sounds like he's going to miss the rest of the regular season.
Man, I hate it for Nick Chubb, one of the good guys, one of the hardest workers. When it comes to quality of play, do coaches need to start rethinking the preseason?
Maybe.
Like playing guys? It's been bad football. This first 2 weeks of NFL has been bad football.
Mm-hmm.
Just been bad. I mean, not everybody, but most teams. I mean, it's just ugly, sloppy, turnovers. The offensive line. I know we're going to get to the Panthers-Saints game, but just watching that Steelers-Browns game, Kenny Pickett made a couple throws. You're just like, oh, my goodness. But the offensive line play, it seemed like both ways last night. It was just awful.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely awful. Steelers needed that win. Browns are kind of who we thought they were. You know, that they beat up on a Bengals team that's struggling after the way they looked against the Ravens. Deshaun Watson is one of the most ugly, from a fundamental standpoint, throwers that I've seen in the NFL. And it's not like he's his old self running around. Now that Nick Chubb's out, Browns are in trouble, man.
They still rushed for 198. Cleveland rushed for 198, threw for 210, and only gave up 55 yards of rushing from the Steelers. Kenny Pickett threw for 200, and you still lose the game. You go back to that pick six early.
Well, you start the game with
First
pick
play.
six.
First play.
And that's on the wide out.
Catch the ball.
Well, you said, and you tweeted last night, we talked about this on the show, there should be an interception category for wide receivers.
Interception category for wide receivers, but if the quarterback throws a bad ball that still happens to be caught, he should still get credit for that.
Yeah.
No, I agree, but it's going to be tough sledding for the Browns. Now, their defense is extremely good. Their front seven.
It's the Browns. It's the same Browns team we see every year.
Their secondary's good. But
it was the meme that
you paid Deshaun Watson all this money, all this money to come in there and look like hot garbage. Okay? Sooner or later, it may take some time for him to figure it out, but how much time are you going to give him? Because right now, that does not look like the Deshaun Watson that we're used to. Even from a throwing standpoint, it doesn't look the same. He looks shaky. He doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look confident. And it's crazy because you are running the hell out of the football. Right? If you're a quarterback and you're running the ball this good,
got that monster
I feel
tight end.
great about a lot of things. Let's run some boots. Let's get me outside the pocket. But Deshaun Watson looks afraid.
Wow.
Afraid.
He really does.
You go back to, and I'll tell you this about Derek
double
Carr.
clutching, jumping and throwing.
The eyes of the quarterback for certain guys, if they get hit early, you see them tick down extremely quick. Deshaun Watson, one of them. Derek Carr, one of them. There's certain guys, if you get your hands on them early, those eyes start to sink down. They'll worry about the rush a lot more than what they'll worry about in the secondary.
Man, you hit the nail on the head with he doesn't look confident.
No,
That's
he doesn't.
The thing. And we asked this over these past 2 years, man, how much is he going to be affected by all of this embarrassment with the massage parlor stuff and all that. That has to seep into your professional life. And he
sure.
doesn't look confident. Obviously, the end of last year, hey, you got to shake off some rust at some point.
For sure.
This is the season that we find out are Deshaun Watson's best football years behind him, because, man, he had some good years. Some good.
Yeah, I think
with the worst team.
No, I think people forget how good Deshaun Watson.
That's why he got the big guarantee. And I understand it from the Browns' point of view. If you have to have an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl these days, which you do have to have it, and you're trying to buy low and sell high and figure out who you're drafting and doing all this stuff, I get it. They went all out for a guy who was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, I thought. And I'm not saying that it's not going to work out. Like, it's early in the season, but he does not look confident.
Yeah, still, neither one of these, I know it's early, neither one of those teams I look at and say, okay, these guys have a legitimate chance. You got time to turn it around. But when it comes
Kenny Pickett, too, man.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett, he's just on and off. Now, when it comes to the Saints, Panthers, the offensive line play in that was terrible. And you're right about Derek Carr. I mean, he'll stare the rush down like a 10 walking out of the water at the beach. But the Saints offensive line, we knew the Panthers offensive line was bad. Saints offensive line's bad.
Yeah.
They're bad. Like, I mean, there were some points where they were just getting ran through by four-man pressure, or by four-man rushes.
I agree, but I will say this about the Panthers. The Panthers up front on defense, top 5 in the NFL.
They are, but the Saints had a 52% pressure rate in game 1. Like, it wasn't just last night. I mean, they are legitimately getting
Saints.
The Pennington kid, who played awful in the first game at left tackle, played a little bit better. But when I look at the Saints, I love what they have at wide receiver. Olave's a witch. Yeah. Shaheed's nice. They've got pieces around. The defense is
cold.
They may have a top 3.
You go on the road to a divisional opponent and you find a way to win, and Chris Olave made big plays. I get all that. But yeah, like
the Panthers are bad.
Look good. And now Jamal Williams is out too. Okay. You're basically running Wildcat with Taysom Hill on quarterback draw every play. At some point, if I'm the Panthers and I see Taysom Hill back there, I'm just going to say, you have to throw this next pass.
PRO.
Even if it's a touchdown, if I have to run cover 0, all-out blitz, if you throw a 50-yard touchdown bomb, fine. I need to see it with my eyes before I let you go 8 yards a pop on the
I really love the screen draw game they're playing with Taysom Hill.
They were killing him with
it's dirty.
And then on 3rd and 2, they're like, hey, let's get in shotgun and pass it, in the 4th quarter. That play call blew my mind. Bryce needed that last drive, by the way. I thought that was big with
the touchdown, the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I thought it gave him some confidence. But speaking about a guy that threw a couple 50-yard touchdown passes of his own, Tom Luginbill, or as he's known in the streets and by some foreign intelligence agencies, Lugs. Lugs, what's up, dog?
How we doing, boys? It's good to see you.
God, you too, man. Hey, I like you. You grown out a little, growing some scruff there, man. I like it.
Me too.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't really have any gray hair on my head, but my face is all gray, and I don't understand why.
Well, you look straight out of a Just for Men commercial. It's looking good, like salt and pepper. No one can tell, but you want them to tell.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is actual natural salt and pepper, so I think I'll own it.
Yeah. Look, chicks love it. If you really ask, the salt and pepper it's the move. It's actually again.
I'm going to go ask my wife when we're done right now. I'm going to just go ask her.
You should ask her. You should ask her. That's on the that's real time. That's answers in real time. But Lugs, I mean, Cone has coined the term. It's never been said before. Separation Saturday.
Separation Saturday.
This Saturday, and there's some nobody's ever in the history
of
sports media.
They're going to have now. So what you're saying is certain teams are going to separate themselves from certain other teams.
Yes. This here,
I get it now.
Then
not
they
Friday.
separate.
Okay. And not so much on Sunday.
All right, take some
time.
But, Lugs, we talked some Ohio State, Notre Dame. I want to hit you this Ole Miss, Alabama game, all right, because it's fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Saban says Jalen Milroe will be the quarterback, after it seems like he got put in timeout last weekend against South Florida. It also seems to me that Kevin Steele apparently is still the defensive coordinator at Alabama after what Lane Kiffin said. But when you look at this from a matchup standpoint, Ole Miss has been tested a little bit. You saw him go down to Tulane. You saw him play Georgia Tech, which, by the way, Haynes King's playing a lot better than what I thought he would. Still, I don't think he's a great player. But when you look at this matchup with Alabama, the biggest question, I want to ask you, Tom Luginbill, this. You got Tommy Rees at OC, Nick Saban as head coach. I'm not saying you drastically change everything about the offense, but at what point do you sit here and realize you need to tailor the offense to what Jalen Milroe does best, zone read, RPOs, get out of this 5-step drop game, stop trying to treat him like he's Sam Hartman, treat him like the Ferrari that he is, get him on the move, quarterback design runs. Does Alabama make a conscientious effort to stop being so damn stubborn on offense with Jalen Milroe?
Well, they darn well better, because that's what they were lacking against Texas. I thought they would go into that game and Texas would have their hands full having to stop quarterback run.
Mm-hmm.
And they just didn't do it. It was almost like Tommy Rees was coaching an offense where Ian Book was the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I look at this offense and I say, okay, what should this look like right now with this guy? I feel like it should look like Louisville with Lamar Jackson, where it's quarterback counter, quarterback lead, zone read. I just heard you guys talking about the Saints and what they do with Taysom Hill and some of the screen stuff and the moving around, and at least force Ole Miss to have to line up and account for an extra hat in the box in the run game, which would then in turn give you more one-on-ones on the outside, which makes the easier progression and the easier read for Jalen Milroe when you do decide to throw it. And then when it comes to the passing game as a whole, nakeds, bootlegs, changing the launch point, moving him around.
Mm-hmm.
This 3 and 5 step within the pocket stuff that's not him. So they're going to have to come up with some better approaches to take on Ole Miss.
Yeah, and you have Pete Golding, a little narrative I don't think a lot of people are talking about outside of the Alabama fan base. Pete Golding, who was at Alabama, coming back to Alabama as Ole Miss's defensive coordinator. But on the other side, Lane Kiffin offensively against Alabama's defense. Alabama's front seven on defense wasn't able to generate a lot of pressure against Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, South Florida, you might as well have played a triple option team with that kid at quarterback. I mean, they couldn't throw the ball at all. But if you're Ole Miss's offense, if you're Lane Kiffin going in there, you know he can dial it up. Do you think Bama's going to pressure Jackson Dart, or would you do what I would do if you're Alabama, because Jackson Dart struggles seeing intermediate defenders, even though he's been better this year, and try and still get there with 4, maybe 5-man pressures?
Well, having seen the Ole Miss and Tulane game, and I'm not saying this is going to carry over, but Tulane whipped Ole Miss up front.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to do it with pressure. And so I think initially, if you're Alabama, you do try to do it with just your base package and just see if we're flat out better than
dip your toe in the water
up front. Right. Now, I think the other component to all of this is there going to be a healthy Quinshon Judkins? And will there be a healthy Trey Harris at wideout outside? Because, Trey Harris goes down versus Tulane, doesn't play versus Georgia Tech. Quinshon Judkins was injured versus Georgia Tech, played some, kind of gutted it out, but really was no factor against Tulane. And that's why Jackson Dart was so important this past week. It wasn't just what he did through the air, but what he did on the ground was necessary, because they're not getting it right now from Quinshon Judkins. So if Alabama doesn't feel like they've got to load up the box to stop the run, I think that benefits Alabama defensively. And then again, what's the personnel look like? Does Ole Miss have its full complement of weapons when they go to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, no doubt. Tom, Colorado is 3-0 since the last time we spoke, and they've won each game in very different ways. Now, you and I weren't very high on Colorado before the season, but they've overperformed by every metric available. Colorado State gave them all they could handle, though. Colorado State outperformed Colorado for much of that game. Again, last-minute drive, Colorado comes back and wins the football game. It seems like Colorado is performing better when they're the hunter, right? When there are no expectations, they have a chip on their shoulder back against the wall, and not so well when they're the favorite and they're getting hunted. So this weekend, you go on the road to Oregon. That line just keeps going up and up. Is Colorado going to figure out another way to sort of put their backs against the wall and say, see, no one still respects us? Or is this the moment where you finally go on the road and you play one of these Pac-12 teams that we've been circling as a juggernaut all season, and they come back down to earth?
Listen, I mean, this is where it gets real, right? Because this time the team on the other sideline is not a bunch of chumps. And I don't want to disrespect Colorado State or Nebraska or even TCU, but neither of those three teams are even close to what Oregon is going to present. They have done such a good job of just finding ways, right? Just coming up with some way of pulling it off. They persevere, they hang in there, like the Nebraska game. It was almost like, guys, that team in red and white over there is going to screw it up.
Yeah.
So just don't screw it up.
Yeah,
right?
and they didn't. They don't. It's great to see.
Exactly. And then Colorado State, guys, they had 17 penalties for 182 yards and 4 turnovers and probably should have won the game. And so, and I go back, and we talked about this, after the opening weekend and in my comments, but they're basically riding 5 players. They're riding Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Weaver, Sam Horn Jr., and Dylan Edwards. Right? We just removed the second most important one in Travis Hunter, right? Shedeur Sanders is playing out of his mind. They still can't run the football. They have not run the ball in any single game for more than 70 yards. So they have no balance offensively. They can't stop anybody on defense. And now they're going to start playing Oregon, Utah, SC, Washington State, who's obviously a lot better than I think people thought they were going to be. I look at this schedule and I see Arizona State and Stanford. Colorado's going to win both of those games. How do they get one of those others? Because they're no longer taking the field as the best team or as a team where it could go either way, right? So I see why the line is moving like this. I want to see if against a really good team, can Colorado get into the fourth quarter and get into a one-possession game against a team with really good quarterback play and without Colorado's ability to run the football or stop the run? That's going to tell me whether Colorado gets in a blowout where they lose or they win or lose narrowly in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, they're already playing with house money anyway. I don't want – this is what Colorado and what Prime has done, regardless of what – if you like Deion Sanders, if you don't like Deion Sanders, what they've done is unbelievably impressive. But I think we always say on the show, 2 things can be true at once. You can applaud Colorado and just, be in awe of what they've accomplished so far and realize you are taking a huge step up in competition. Like, for example, Notre Dame's taking a huge step up in competition this weekend.
That's why we call it Separation Saturday.
That's
boys,
exactly
and I can't wait for it. One more here. I got to get your thoughts on Michigan State informing Mel Tucker that they intend to fire him for cause for the inappropriate sexual relationship. What do you make of this with what's going on with Michigan State, and where are they going to go for the head coaching search?
Well, that's a really good question. I've kind of tried to stay away from that story a little bit. It makes you uncomfortable, right? And listen, I don't think Michigan State publicly makes that statement unless they have Mel Tucker dead to rights.
They got to, Tom, right?
Right? You can't make a statement like that saying you're going to fire somebody with cause without legitimately having concrete cause. And so, this is an athletic department in a university that has just been reeling with negativity and poor behavior and conduct. And so it makes you wonder, is it an attractive job right now? I mean, I think it can be. I think it could be a good job. They learned their lesson on paying a guy $95 million off of basically one season. And they haven't really, played well since that time. But I don't. That's a really good question on who they go after. I have
Dan
to give
Mullen?
that a lot more thought.
Dan Mullen?
Dan Mullen?
Mike Elko, maybe?
How about Sean Lewis, the OC at Colorado, who's done a remarkable job?
How great of a business decision would that look for Sean Lewis, leaving to be the head coach at Kent State, to be the OC
coordinator
at Colorado, and then his head coach job. Watch out too, Jason Candle, Toledo. A guy that if it gets down the line, I mean, Jason, he is very well respected. He's done a hell of a job at Toledo.
I wonder if they'd make a run at Scott Leffler at Bowling Green.
What about Jeff Levy? What about Levy?
No. How about Tim Albin at Ohio?
Yeah. I love watching him get after the officials. He always gets after the officials. I love it. He's like me. You want to know what I was like? Watch him.
Okay.
That's what it was like.
Now I need to go watch.
Yeah, I would feel bad for the officials at the end of the game.
Yeah.
When Jake would get after him? Really?
The things I heard got said are unforgivable somewhat.
Look,
I'm not going to repeat them. Tom, I got to ask you this question. I've been hearing it all over TV and all over toxic social media. Has Deion Sanders changed the game of college football?
I think he's brought something to it that it's never had before. And that is Hollywood entertainment type value, almost a WWE type value that has lit a fuse that is going to have, I think, long-standing ripple effects, not just in college football, but most notably for Colorado in their immediate future. Because, guys, they've lit a fuse in recruiting. They've lit a fuse in the transfer portal. They've lit a fuse in name, image, and likeness. And if you look at the big picture for them, we've talked about their lack of depth, right, which is a very fair debate. It's a very fair conversation. Because when Travis Hunter goes off the field, the guy replacing him is not here. Yeah. He's probably way down here.
It's me.
Right?
Yeah, it's Blaine.
Right. Okay. So, but imagine 2024, 2025, and 2026 when either through high school recruiting or the transfer portal, that depth problem goes away. And now imagine that team. And that's what he's created here. Somehow, some way, I think, first of all, Deion Sanders wills things to happen. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
He never fails. He wills things to happen. Now, he's got the benefit of a first-rounder at quarterback, which gets you off the mat immediately. But he also somehow is able to keep the circus and all of the things that are going on around the program. He's able to keep that from impacting their team's performance, which I think is a very, very difficult thing to do. These are young, impressionable kids, and The Rock's showing up, and Lil Wayne's showing up, and they're on 60 Minutes, and they're on Game Day, and Fox News showing up. I mean, like, how do you not get caught up in that and have it impact your ability to perform?
You say that
he's done a remarkable job.
Yeah, I agree. You say that, but there were some reports after this past weekend when they almost lost to Colorado State that, oh, wait, maybe there were too many distractions. We had DJ in the locker room and all this kind of stuff. I wonder if that gets cut back on now that you go play the team.
I want to see the reaction after a loss. I want to see how people act after a loss.
Yeah, that's well.
And it's going to happen, guys. I mean, it's going to happen. Like, what happens if it happens bad?
Yeah.
Because it could.
Yeah, well, and two, I think Deion is. I want to see when, like Cone said, when they're the hunted and not the hunter. But we say that. I mean, Kirby Smart finds a way to manufacture adversity with his team. Nick Saban does with his. But I do want to get to Florida State and Clemson. Colorado's probably going to get smothered by Oregon this weekend. We'll be back to talk about it. But this Florida State and Clemson matchup, I know a lot of people are down on Clemson. We've talked about their lack of skill players being able to get separation, kind of the drop off there. Dabo's refusal to embrace the transfer portal. But when I look at this matchup, there's a reason that spread's at 2 points. Like there's a reason for it. Not that I'm saying Clemson's going to win, but I got a feeling that this game is going to go a little bit different than a lot of people thought it was going to go after the first week watching Clemson versus Duke and what was a wacky game. That was a wacky game. You had some Garrett Riley for some reason was not doing math inside the 10-yard line and kept trying to run zone read when they were bringing more than you could block. It was blowing up the mesh point and all this. But when you look at Florida State, who may have been looking ahead a little bit past the Boston College team, when you diagnose this matchup a little bit, the question I ask myself is, can Cade Klubnik run well enough to be able to give Florida State problems? Because it seems like the mobile quarterback is what gives the Seminoles more problems. Jaden Daniels tore him up running. Right? You had the Castellanos kid from Boston College, tear him up running. Cade Klubnik's not going to be, sprinting against Jamaica in the world trials anytime here soon, but he runs well enough to give him a problem.
Yeah, he does run well enough to give him a problem. And, listen, Thomas Castellanos is a problem.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think Florida State really truly realized what they were getting into with him. It took him a little while to settle in. And Florida State was very, very fortunate to come out of that game with a win. They were outplayed in many regards. But listen, Clemson last week finally got off to a fast start on offense. Mm-hmm. They finally looked like they could create some explosives. They were suffocating on defense. Cade Klubnik settled in. Is Cade Klubnik a good enough runner to get out of trouble? Yes. Is he going to be like a designated runner like Boston College used Thomas Castellanos? No, I don't think that's what they want to do with him. That probably benefits Florida State. I think Florida State got set back a little bit, and maybe they were looking ahead, but it might have been the best thing to happen for them.
I agree.
Because everybody's talking so good about them, patting them on the back, and then all of a sudden they go up. Boston College should have lost to Holy Cross. They did lose to Northern Illinois, who then went and lost to Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
And got pushed around in both of those contests. So Florida State's probably going up there going, we're going to throw our uniform on. We're going to walk all over these guys. And it didn't happen. I think it was a great lesson. I think the line is where it's at because Vegas knows that both of these teams have equitable athletes. Like there's not a significant tipping point where you just say, wow, they are so glaringly better there than they are. And generally when you have that type of matchup, that's when the line starts to narrow.
Yeah, my question is, though, and David, we talked about this, Clemson's skill players. I know Shipley's going to play well. Klubnik has put the ball in harm's way, but on the outside, Bo Collins, those guys, are they going to use the tight end? Can they get separation from the Florida State DB group? And then I look at Clemson's defense, which to me is the strength of their team. Now you're having to defend Keon Coleman on one side, Johnny the Giraffe Wilson on the other, Jaheim Bell in the middle, and a legitimate offensive line. I mean, that to me, this is a hell of a matchup.
Yeah, for sure. And we've been circling this one all offseason. And now that we have a little bit larger sample size, we have to take a lot of things into account. I mean, Clemson's lost to Duke. Duke's a good football team. This isn't your grandfather's Duke team anymore. Rylan Winter's going to play on Sundays one day. On the Florida State side, they did not look great in the first half against LSU. They made mistakes, and there were some things, and that got LSU was making mistakes too, so we were looking at that game like, hey, who's going to come out and decide in the second half they want to win the game? Happened to be Florida State, and they did it on the ground too, which is what was so surprising. Talking about willing your way to a win, that's what Florida State did. And then at Boston College, they were up significantly at points in the game, but sort of like Tom said, didn't take it seriously in terms of shutting the door. And you allow a kid like Castellanos to go make plays in the second half, ends up being tighter at the end.
Turn it over.
Then you find out, wait, we could really lose this game on a last possession or something like that. So all of these different things still have me scratching my head even more because I'm thinking, this could be anyone's game late in the fourth quarter on Saturday.
Well, the thing that was tough too, guys, and it surprised our crew last week, Florida State couldn't run the football in Boston College.
Yeah.
Holy Cross in Northern Illinois ran the ball and pushed Boston College around. Florida State could not run it. And Boston College isn't necessarily playing with the same dudes Clemson's playing with in that front seven. So Florida State's going to have to get back to that ground game and Trey Benson so that all of those weapons in the passing game have better opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Boston College rushed for more than Florida State did on the ground.
That's wild.
152 to 128.
And I watched that Holy Cross game. I mean, I was saying holy something else while I was watching that game.
Yeah.
Tom, we appreciate you so much, man. Where are you going to be this weekend quickly, my friend?
Texas at Baylor, ABC Prime on Saturday night.
Definitely.
Really? Sneaky.
Well, man, thanks so much for coming on, making time for us again. I know you're super busy all the time, especially this time of year. Great stuff as usual, and look forward to catching up soon.
My pleasure, guys. Have a great week, okay?
Definitely.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Salt and Pepper's
Looking
here.
good, brother.
Salt and Pepper's here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, my friend.
See you, buddy.
All right, Tom Luginbill, one of the best in the business. I want to get to calls, David, but also with the calls, if you have a best bet in your calls that you're feeling really good about, maybe you're feeling dangerous about, we've got a couple as well as my computer just absolutely lost its mind. I don't know what's going on with it right now. But let's go and get to calls if you're ready.
Well, we got Jan on the line out of Lubbock, Tumbleweed, who sent these shirts in for us,
Yes,
right?
Jan, thank you.
Jan,
We're
what's
going to
up?
show everybody at the end here.
Well, I'm going to tell you, good morning, boys. First of all, glad Blaine is feeling better.
Thank you.
I hated about Nick Chubb. When I lived in Atlanta, our office had a chubby girl squad. So I'm sorry about that. But I woke up this morning and I thought, is it December? Is it my birthday?
Yeah, well,
I am so thrilled. Thank you so much. And I won't take up all your time, but I will
you're
tell
good.
two local sports updates.
Okay.
One is our cousin starts his 6th grade varsity game tomorrow night, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then his sister, who is 11 years old, just made enough points to make it to the National Rodeo Championship in Las
let's
Vegas
go.
in December.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
The most important levels of the sport, right
Yeah,
there.
Jan sent us a bunch of really cool stuff, too. You can see it right here, one of the shirts. We're going to show it up and put it on the shelf.
Joe knows.
Joe knows.
Who knows?
Joe knows.
Yeah,
And what's this one? Roughnecks
This one,
football?
the Roughnecks.
Dude, that shirt's sweet.
Yeah, we're talking Joe Roughneck when we're talking Joe.
Oh,
Let's
that's
go.
exactly right. Sundown Roughnecks, baby. Let's get local.
Wow, that shirt's
Let's
awesome.
get local. You love to see
That's
it.
a great logo.
You absolutely
Well,
love to see it.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much. Well, the best part of this is going to be my sister, who I think is somewhat secretly loves this, but acts embarrassed about me calling you guys.
Oh,
I'm
she
gonna
shouldn't.
Put this on a loop. I'm putting this on a loop. I'm going to play it every time she comes to my house.
Do it.
You should. You
Do it,
should do it
Jan.
literally every time. You should do it every
Well,
time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jan.
I mean, you just brought tears to my eyes today, boy.
Oh,
Oh.
have a great day, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. You're the best. We'll
Jan,
talk
you're
to you
the
next
best.
week, all right?
We're going to put this up, too.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yay! Thanks. Go right.
See
All
ya.
right. See.
All right, we got Kirk up in Canada, guys.
Charlotte Kirky.
Trying to get out of Canada or what, Kirk?
Hey, gentlemen.
There he is.
What's up, man? You hanging out with Optimus Prime or what?
Well, we're trying to, things are pretty bad up here in Canada with Justin Trudeau, but that's another call for another day.
Yeah. I didn't say Optimus
I got it.
lame.
I'm going to make some calls this weekend and see if I can get one of you three boys at a Michigan State job. If you get that.
Look, I'm good. I'll do it for half.
Look,
I'll do it for half what y'all gave Mel Tucker.
yeah.
At 38 mil. I'll do it for half.
I'm pretty impressed with the NFL teams this year. I've always been a big offense guy, but you can't help but respect the defense that we're seeing in this league, especially those Cowboys. Pains me to say it.
It's been defensive.
I got a start bench cut for you guys that you. I can't wait to hear your answers. We got Chris Jones, Micah Parsons, Aaron Donald.
Start all three of them.
Yeah, start.
Yeah, I'm starting Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald.
I'm going to say I'm starting Micah Parsons.
Really?
I think he may be the best defensive player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, look, you're not crazy, but I'm going to take Aaron Donald, Micah Parsons, and then cut Chris Jones.
Yeah, I'm going to take Aaron Donald. Then I'm going to take Chris Jones. Then Micah's probably getting cut.
You're going to cut
Micah Parsons?
Yeah. Have you seen Chris Jones and Aaron Donald?
I've seen
Have you seen
Parsons
Micah
play.
Parsons?
Yeah. Have you seen Aaron Donald? and Chris
At
Jones?
one point, I could put Micah Parsons at safety and he could play.
Yeah.
Who's out there helping Chris Jones on the D-line?
I mean, let's
A lot of good players.
Yeah.
look
Look at the Cowboys
Nobody's saying Chris Jones is bad, but right now, I guarantee you, if you started an NFL draft right now, Micah Parsons go number one.
Okay. I'm taking Aaron Donald. I don't give a damn what y'all are talking about.
Okay.
Aaron Donald, first year? Come on, Micah. Walk on down, buddy. He warms up with knives. Knives.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is out there having
See what you've done, Kirk?
tailgates with people at their houses a week before the party's supposed to
Speaking
happen.
of DNs, did you see my boy Justin Houston getting after Derek Carr last night?
I saw
it.
1-year deal with the Panthers?
I saw him making plays
Big
last
Tooms.
night for sure. Doing it like year 38, Justin
Look,
Houston.
just getting
But
after it.
Kirk, remember,
Appreciate
you
it,
need to
Kirk.
get out of there, dog. Just go outside. You know what you got.
12 and a half, Kirky.
Yeah, Flyers fly high.
Don't forget.
Hey, Kirk, call in next week. I want to talk about this Columbus Blue Jackets coach situation. I don't know much about it. I want you to fill us in next week, all right?
Heard he had a blue jacket.
You got it.
He's gone. He's fired, boys.
No way. Ron got fired?
Looking at the players.
Trevor got fired?
Looking
Ricky
at
got
the players' photos, asking them to pull them up like in one-on-one meetings or something.
Like making fun of him?
No, just wanting to get to know them and their family or something.
Oh, man, what a
Started
terrible
complaining,
person.
yeah.
Didn't Matt Stafford do
I don't
the
know. We
same
need
thing?
Kirk to call.
Oh, Daredevil?
We need Kirk to let us know what's going
Yeah.
on. All right, we got Josh in North Carolina. Josh, what's the word?
Josh, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, thanks for the video yesterday. All my friends and family got a good laugh out of it.
That was good, man. That was good.
You tried to blame Blaine over there for not reading the super chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, what was that like?
Put him on Front
also-
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I thought Jake Crain was going to skyhook and punch me in the face after yesterday on Twitter. I'm sorry, my work
I'm scared of
starts at
heights.
9, so I'll hop off at 8:59. All right. I can't listen to the last 3 minutes of the show. It's my fault. Sorry.
Well, I'm scared of heights. You won't find me skyhook. I'm kind of like in the fortress, like making sure everything's going.
Got a lot of
good.
questions about your commitment right now.
Yeah, me too. I got a couple phone calls questioning your commitment, to be honest.
Wow.
There's a hat on the table, and the hat I'm picking for you is commitment question mark.
Yeah, you're committed to question mark.
Yeah.
So I got 2 quick things. I know you asked for a bet, and I don't bet too much because it's still not legal in North Carolina. But
Man, that
whenever I do
sucks.
bet, I know what website to use if I wanted to place a bet.
DraftKings.
Law
Text me.
enforcement, you didn't hear that from me. So
For sure.
anyways, so I would say a good bet this weekend. The Notre Dame point spread. It's what, 3.5 right now?
3.5.
Take a money line.
I'd say take them up to 6.5. Truly,
Ooh.
I don't think it's going to be that close of a game.
So you're
But
saying take
you're
Notre
saying- I
Dame
don't
to
know.
win by
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
they're a
that's good
dog
bet.
right now.
Try to
Wow.
see if it pays off.
God, I'm gonna take that 3.5.
Wow, I love to hear it.
3.5's a good bet.
Well, yeah, they're plus 3.5.
but
Yeah, so, I mean that's a hell of a
they're
point
plus
flip.
3.5.
Yeah, they're plus
Yeah.
they're dogs.
I bet.
No, look, to be honest with you, minus
I don't-
6.5.
yeah, I don't
that
think you're
doesn't sound
nuts
terrible.
saying that.
I think Notre Dame's a better football.
They're not gonna send you to Shutter Island for thinking.
Look, Josh, you have a problem. You can't bet with North Carolina legally. Shoot me a text. Shoot me a DM.
All right.
Yeah, Blaine just committed to
Sounds
Iowa
good.
State.
Yeah,
Yeah. They could use you.
yeah.
Anyways, my question, boys. I don't watch a lot of regular season baseball, but I swear, whenever playoff baseball
Oh yeah.
is on, I'm always watching it. It's one of the best playoff atmospheres you'll see, minus college football and NFL. But anyways, my question to you is like, who do you think's more likely to win the World Series as the teams are in the playoff picture right now, and who do you think's a good dark horse for the playoffs?
Braves. The win.
Yeah, look, I don't want to jinx the Braves, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and say the Braves. You know what I hope happens. Dark horse wise, there's really nobody that I feel like it's so top heavy this year that, I mean, if I had to pick one, I mean, the Rangers, if they sneak in, even with Scherzer.
Will they be a
beat
dark
up?
horse at this point?
I mean, yeah, it's the Rangers.
That's fair enough. Mariners are going to get in, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Mariners are gonna
picked the
get
Mariners to kind of make a move here in the second half, but I'll go
Or even,
Rangers.
I mean, like the Orioles are 2.5 games up in their division, already clinched. Like, would that be?
I mean, it's
The Orioles have been so bad,
yes.
so-
yeah. I mean, I would say the Rangers. I'm going to go Rangers. But Baltar, man, good luck against UTSA this weekend.
Oh, thank you, and also chop on.
Chop on, buddy.
For sure.
See you, Josh. All right, let's go to Glenn in Missouri. Glenn, what's up?
His name's Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, boys. How's it going?
What's
What
up,
up,
man?
dude?
All right. So first off, you see me in the chat. You see me on X. It's chanting Arrowhead.
Ooh, Arrowhead. There he is.
I love it.
All right. And I'd love to talk about the wins for my Chiefs. I'd like to talk about the win from my Tigers down there in Columbia. But I have to talk about Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw the same video that I did, but I watched his knee
It's bad.
or his leg going a 90-degree angle in a way that a flamingo would be feeling it.
Yeah. It was perpendicular.
I saw it again this morning, thanks to Blaine.
Yeah,
You're
Blaine
welcome.
sent a picture on
Screenshot
this
of it.
morning. It looked like I was watching
Thanks,
an
buddy.
episode
Really
of
wake you up
House.
in the morning. Get your tummy rolling.
Yeah, no kidding. Do you guys think this is just a season ender, or is this possibly a career ender?
Look, when Nick Chubb, nobody works harder than that guy. I mean, nobody can squat more than that guy. I'm surprised is he actually gets hurt, to be honest with you, much he can squat. If anybody can come back from multiple gruesome injuries, it's that guy. So I'm not going to limit him, but I just hate it for him, man.
I think Nick really needs to take a second and think about his life after football, because he's had 2 horrific injuries, and he runs harder than probably anybody in the NFL and gets probably 20-plus carries a game.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to be able to walk after this.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's Nick Chubb, one of the hardest working guys I've ever seen. But, there's more to life than just football.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn.
Appreciate it,
thumbs,
man.
Glenn.
All right, let's go to Michael. Michael in Texas. What's going on, Michael?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Jake, I was listening to you earlier talking about Notre Dame, Ohio State, and I know you said take a page out of Florida's playbook. I would say take a page out of Michigan's playbook because of the last 2 years when we beat them. Last year we took some of their punches early. We kind of kept pace with them, and then we leaned on our ground game, controlled the clock, and eventually, Donovan Edwards with 2 big runs put them away. I think Notre Dame is more like that. And I feel like if they play that same type of strategy, they'll definitely win.
I think it's methodical, right? But you're not having to we talk about Jalen Milroe in Alabama trying to force a square peg in a round hole. You're not having to do that with being methodical, because that's who Notre Dame is. They want to run the ball. You want to play action. They don't need to lean on their young skill players on the outside. They don't need to be the entree. They need to be the garlic mashed potatoes. They need to be the toasted butter bread. They need to be the Brussels sprouts. They don't need to be the steak, right? The running game is the steak with Estime and that offensive line and getting to that play action game. And that runs the clock. So, I think it's a lot of it. And David, I think you said this. The best part about it for Notre Dame is you're just being yourself.
You're just being yourself, and them being themselves looks a lot like Michigan. So
That's
I think,
exactly
Michael,
right.
I think you're exactly right. You're really onto something there because they want to run the football first. Even last year, I was looking at that run game thinking, man, this does look a lot like Michigan. This looks a lot like what Georgia wants to do. But what was the missing piece? Didn't have Sam Hartman at quarterback like you do now. You add him into the equation where he can throw for 300 yards a game if you need to get into that. Then, that's what makes it interesting. The question will be, what are the Buckeyes going to do on defense? Because remember that Michigan game was close last year for a while until they decided to play cover zero the entire second half. And I understand why they did it. Go shut down that run game. Go shut down Donovan Edwards. Make J.J. McCarthy beat us. Oh, guess what? He did. Branch nod for a touchdown. Wheel route down the sideline for a touchdown. So that he ended up exposing that cover zero. Are they going to do the same against Sam Hartman?
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about last year, J.J. McCarthy was kind of an unproven commodity up to that point. But Sam Hartman is a proven commodity. So that kind of gives Ohio State some pause, if you will, about loading the box. So, it's going to be interesting. And I would say on the other side, I know you guys talked about Marvin Harrison Jr., Micah Book, and those guys. Honestly, if, like you said, if Ohio State can rush the passer without bringing extra guys, you make Kyle McCord uncomfortable. Sometimes the best pass defense is your pass rush.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Well, again, it's getting him into third and predictable, right? That's the whole goal. The thing is, would you rather make Kyle McCord try and beat you by throwing to Ohio State's best players on their team, or would you try and make Ohio State beat you dribbling with their left? That's what it comes down to. But again, Kyle McCord, we haven't seen him. I mean, you still got to throw it where they can catch it. Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Nick Book and all these guys, they can only do so much. So, Michael, great call, man. That's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on.
Good stuff,
Great
Michael.
call, Mike.
Appreciate it. Call in next week after the game, all right?
Do you want to get to a couple bets you like real quick?
We can. We got callers, Sue. Whatever you want to do.
Here, we can do sharps tomorrow when the lines move a little bit. Let's stay with
Okay. All right. Let's then go to Jesse in Daytona Beach.
Oh, lucky.
Daytona,
I
my
love
favorite
Daytona
style of
Beach.
wings.
All right. Hey, guys. This is my call sign is going to be Bearded Gator.
Nice.
Gator. All right.
Yeah. And I got to get off my lawn for UT fans.
Okay.
Oh, tell them.
Yes, let them
It's
know.
a movement.
So University of Tennessee and their fans can not only get off my lawn, but if I see you in your butt ugly creamsicle clothes in my neighborhood, I'm calling your parents to come pick up your special needs child. Y'all are like the girl kicker who kicks a squib kick. Grow up, Peter Pan. You haven't done anything. You say things like, oh, our basketball team's the best this year, and get bounced early, never even making it to a Final Four. Wow, we've won multiple championships. Your baseball team, oh, it's maybe the best ever. Yeah, get bounced in your own regional. Well, we've won a championship in baseball too, huh? Our football team, we won 10 games for only the second time in 20 years. We're so good. Still can't win in the swamp in that, Sam, because only Gators come out alive in the swamp. But guess what? 10 wins isn't that big of an accomplishment. shoot, Muschamp, McElwain, and Mullen all won 10 games multiple times and actually won the SEC East. And that still wasn't good enough for a program with standards.
Wow.
So when the University of Tennessee was born, the parents said, "Hey, Doc, is it a boy? Is it a girl?" No, Doc said, "Sorry, it's just mid."
Oh my
Tennessee
God.
fans, I brought my receipts too.
Ooh.
Leroy Hossa said UT will choke, and then went on to say bad things about Florida. He should have just stopped right there, and he could have actually been right. And we all know what they choked on. Just ask Shaq. How did that taste? Colson Duggins, you said you think Florida will beat Tennessee. LOL. Cute. Yeah, it was real cute when we told you to take your shoes off, get barefoot in the kitchen, and make us a sandwich.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You said, oh, yeah, they lost to a team with a backup quarterback and beat a team in McNeese. Is that even a real team? Yeah, we lost to the two-time defending Pac-12 champs, all right. Yeah, that wasn't great on the road in altitude week 1. And, yeah, we beat McNeese, and it's an FCS team, but we beat them to sleep with 49 points on the board. Your FCS team actually was in the game against you. So
Stop hating him. He's already dead.
So instead of making fun of McNeese, Voltar, why don't you get on your McNeese and pray you never have to go back to the swamp again?
Jesse.
So
Wow, Jesse.
In conclusion, I'll just say, UT and all your fans, your delusional fans, you can just make your way right off of my lawn.
Wow.
I've never been more proud in my life. Get this man a candle.
Yes, get this man a candle.
Best
all right.
ever.
And he threw it, it's mid in there.
Jesse, thanks for the call, man. You got to call back again, dude. That's how you come in. That's how you come into the trust tree and set the tone. And listen,
Tennessee fans,
we
you
have
gonna let this happen?
Yeah, the Tennessee fans, are y'all gonna sit back and just absolutely watch this
He
happen?
told y'all to get barefooted, go to the kitchen,
yeah.
and start making sandwiches.
He said, "Why
Look.
don't you get on your McNeese?"
Look, Jesse, I'm going to start calling you each week before I write my get off my lawn.
Yeah, that was
Jesse,
Jesse.
let me get that. What's that name again? What's the name?
Bearded Gator.
Bearded Gator.
When he
All right.
changed his name to Gator.
God,
Well, hey, man,
Jesse.
enjoy it down in Daytona, dude. That's how you bring the funk.
Yeah, where's my invite, dog?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah, you're invited anytime, buddy.
Let's go,
Jesse.
baby. Remember,
Thanks, buddy.
remember we picked Florida, Jesse.
Yeah.
I'll let you know next time I'm in Daytona
That's right.
Beach. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it,
What a
man.
call,
Wow.
dude.
All right, let's get one more in here quick. Austin and Alabama. We got 60 seconds here. How
Good
you
luck,
doing?
Austin, following that one.
Tom Cruise situation.
What's going on, guys?
How you
What's
doing?
up, Bob?
I told you them Ducks were going to win.
Quack, quack, baby.
Quack,
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 quack.
quack.
Good. They're looking good, Austin.
I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on how y'all think the game's going to play out with Oregon and Colorado. Me personally, I don't think they can stop our community of running backs. I think by mid-third quarter, we're going to stretch it out to a double-digit lead, and they just won't be able to catch up.
Yeah, well, look, we've talking with Luke's too about it. It's up front, right? That's where the difference really is in this game. TCU, Colorado was able to hang around with them. Nebraska, couldn't catch a snap. Colorado matched up talent-wise for them. They could hang around, and Colorado State really outplayed them. With Oregon, this is a different level. You're on both sides of the ball. Oregon is one of the most balanced teams in the country. They're one of the most physically imposing teams up front on both sides in the country. And you're without Travis Hunter. I just don't think you can play hero ball and win this one. I think Oregon's can give you peanut butter and jelly. This is a worse matchup, in my opinion, for Colorado than USC or Washington is,
100%.
because at least you can turn that game into a track meet. Oregon can get down into the ditch with you and just turn it into, hey, we're going to line up and run inside zone. We're going to line up, run counter. We're going to run our gap scheme stuff. I just don't think it's a good matchup.
I think Colorado actually doesn't play Washington.
They do not.
They dodge.
No, I'm just saying in general, I think they match up.
I still think the worst matchup for Colorado is Oregon State.
I'm with you for that. For the
Oregon
same
State's
reason,
gonna kill
basically
them.
the same reason that Oregon.
I think Colorado's going to play well for a half, right? I think you start to see depth and you start to see Oregon start to lean on Colorado in the third quarter. I think this is this is going to be a 20-plus game, 20-point plus game.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Colorado is also a big momentum team, but Oregon is one of the few teams in 3 games that hasn't turned over the football.
Yeah.
And this
Oregon's
game's
been
at
playing
Oregon.
Yeah.
If Oregon is hot early and gets a really good start, it could get ugly.
Yeah, it could be the ugly duckling in the best way for Oregon.
Yeah, I know.
Appreciate it, Austin.
I'm
Thanks, Austin.
I'll see you guys.
Thank you,
All right,
Austin.
buddy.
Great
Thanks,
call,
man.
man. Great
calls
calls today, y'all.
Love
Great
it.
calls
Really
today.
appreciate it.
Thank y'all for calling in.
Yes, definitely. That was, man, Jesse.
Woo!
Absolutely brought the filet mignon. I haven't seen that one in a while. We're gonna get to our sharp bets tomorrow.
Yes.
So we have more
Okay.
time because there's a bunch on the board that we want to get to. We want to make sure we get that for you guys. But real quick to the chat.
Go to Byron Davis with a $10 donation. Good morning, guys. Been a while since I got to catch you live.
Yup.
#Cone. Can you give a Caden an inspirational message if you have a lot of spreading around? Do you have to have a alpha wideout? Go Tigers.
Alpha whiteout
Alpha wideout
for Caden.
for K.
What are we playing, football here?
I believe.
No, it doesn't even matter. Caden, you're about to dominate whatever you're going in for.
Don't.
Whiteout, blackout. I've played in the whiteouts before. Okay, awesome environment. What better way to shine than when everyone comes out and they're all wearing the same color shirts out there? You know what? And you go and you beat them. You take care of your business, all right? Because you are Caden. And no one's gonna mess with you. You eat your breakfast in the morning, you listen to your father, and you take care of your business, all right?
Love it.
And let us know
Love
how it goes.
Great
Love it.
speech. Let's
Call
go
in
to
with the
Luke-
results, man.
Let's go to Lucas Blanchard with the $2 donation. Appreciate it, Lucas. Is Florida State walking into a trap game against Clemson?
See, I don't think it's okay. What are we calling a trap game? Like I think the trap game was last week against Boston College. This game, are they walking into a trap?
I think 2.5 point spread's a trap game.
Do what?
I don't think a 2.5.
No. Like, but are they walking into a trap where Clemson isn't ranked, right? I think that's the question. Like, oh, this isn't the same old Clemson. They're going to go in there focused because they know Jordan Travis and those guys. They have leadership. They're older. They know. But I'm just telling you right now, if you're just thinking, hey, Clemson sucks, this isn't going to be a great game, whatever, don't fall for that. Dabo comes running down that. Does Dabo fall running down the hill this time?
Has he?
It's going to happen. Is it going to happen?
Yeah,
I hope
I
it
don't know.
doesn't. I don't want him to get hurt. But would I laugh? Yes, it'd be hilarious.
But Florida State's a better team.
Florida State is a better team, but the better team doesn't always win in a crazy market. Clemson's got to have this. They got to have this after losing to Duke. Not only did you lose to Duke, Duke's in your conference. You have to. It's Chin Pokemon on South Park. They have to have it. They have to have it.
Let's go to Sean Ketstever with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Shawnee, with the NHL almost here. Here's a new round of Blaine Reed's names. Dude, come on.
Yeah.
Andrea
Nope.
Vasilevsky.
Vasilevsky.
Wow,
Come
that's
on.
one.
Vasilevsky.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
Why is it Andrea Shevnikov.
Sounds good.
Sounds right. Sounds like someone's fighting Bruce
I think
Willis.
John Wick killed that guy.
Elia Lybushkin and Samar Der Argashintsev.
Yeah.
He's great year.
The last
Great
one wasn't
player.
right. I don't
Great
know about the other one. I know the first one was right. I know the last one wasn't right.
Great year.
Unless he's like R2-D2's.
Miss Kevin, $5 donation. I'll be the first to admit Ohio State's been looking rough. But do you think we are in a trap game for Notre Dame? I'm hoping to be smiling for the Sunday morning show.
Yeah, this isn't a trap game. This
Thank
is
you,
a
Miss
good
Kevin.
old-fashioned big dog off. That's what it is. We'll see.
A big dog off.
Big dog off.
And
I
we'll
love
get the bets
that.
in 3 minutes.
BDO. All right. Last night, God, am I glad I bet the Saints game down to 2.5.
Woo! That makes two of us, baby. Your boy won 1,500.
Woo! Anyways.
I'm gonna remember that next time you tell me you don't have any money.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, man, you guys make all the
Free
money.
play,
It's like, I bet
buddy.
$8,000.
Free play.
$8,000
It was free
last
play.
night.
Yeah, I bet $8,000.
Oh, no
on
sweat
the
that?
Astros
Free
the third
play.
inning.
Yeah, you got no people, man.
Yeah. All right. Here's what I'm taking. Got to go baseball today, just because there's no football. So I'm gonna go Rangers -1.5. Two teams that are Rangers trying to improve their playoff position. On the run line, that's +130. Then the Astros, Hunter Brown, on the mound for the Astros tonight. I got him on a run line at +145.
I like the Rangers pick, but I'm just going to go money line -165, and then I'm going to take the Nationals as well -115. I think they're playing the White Sox, and hey, I'm going to take the Nats.
Yeah.
I love it. 2-0 yesterday. Saints money line and the under. You make me happy. All right, give me Mariners A's Nerfy -140. And give me the Orioles. Love betting the Orioles. +1.5, -180. Yeah? Y'all like that?
Is that Simple Jack?
Yeah. Make me. Say it with me,
That
Tug.
was funny.
You
They didn't get the TiVo?
I just did not
They didn't get
expect
the
that.
TiVo?
I just did not expect that. Tugger nuts. All right,
nuts.
here's what I got. Our Ace is going Blue Jays money line minus 115, and the Marlins money line minus 170.
All right, poll.
You mama make
me happy.
Good stuff today, guys.
Who wins this game? Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Ooh.
I'm saying they go.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, what percentage you putting on the cone?
Close, 53.
I'm gonna say Notre Dame. I want to hit this right in the head. 51%.
Come on. Be close.
Notre Dame. 66.
Whoa!
Wow. We're the Buckeyes.
We are popular in Ireland.
Steve, what's going on, Steve? What's that? We're letting this happen in the chat?
Steve in there?
Come on. Steve's always in here. Steve knows.
Yeah.
They don't believe, Steve. They don't believe. Chat, great job today. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button.
Appreciate you guys. Tom Luginbill, great stuff. Got a great show for you tomorrow. We're going to do our sharp bets. Let's do sharp bets first thing tomorrow. How about that? We're going to let you guys know kind of where we're leaning. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all that great stuff. You guys are the best audience. Trust Tree, you're always in it. Great calls today, Jesse. Listen, somebody better clap back.
Dude, do we do a top 5 calls?
Tennessee.
Do we?
Do we start keeping up with the best calls?
Like I'm afraid to walk outside
number one rank because right now, I mean, you got to put Jess at the top.
Jesse's up there.
Yeah.
Jesse's
He
up
told him
there
to get
right
on
now.
the McNeese.
Look,
Yeah.
Tennessee fans, I need to hear from y'all tomorrow.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, that's
told y'all to
that's
get
a
in the
grown
kitchen.
man telling you to do that. So, like the chances of Tennessee fans taking that after tomorrow's calls, we're going. Ooh, caught it. Gone.